My son's already dead. What you gonna do when your son die? I can't love a baby.
I never told you that.
I can't love a baby.
Never told you that.
I can't
Never
love
told
a
you
baby.
that.
You
Because
got me.
when my son died,
It don't matter. It don't matter. And I'm taking care of my son for me. I'm taking care of your son.
Delete them pictures off of Facebook. Take my kids off of Facebook. We don't want nothing to do with you because when I found out about my brothers and you denied my brothers to me. I don't have the money right now. Can you just wait? I could have waited. I already waited a year before my van got fixed and it's broke down again. Can you help me now?
The Dark versus Bailey case took a different turn when an unexpected woman shows up. But that's not the problem here. Mr. Dark is calling Ms. Bailey a promiscuous liar. What could she have done to deserve that name? Let's find out.
Mr. Dark, you say the defendant is a promiscuous liar who broke your heart 4 years ago, stepping out on your then relationship. You admit to having a one-night stand with her 2 years ago, but are furious Ms. Bailey is now claiming you fathered her 11-month-old son, which you say is impossible. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Coming back to have a one-night stand with your ex-girlfriend without the intention of getting back together is a bit of the rack. What's worse is Mr. Dark believes their unprotected sexual intercourse that night can't lead to a baby. Maybe Mr. Dark needs to go back to school to learn biology.
Bailey, you say Mr. Dark is a deadbeat who knows full well he is your son Jameer's father. You claim there is no way anyone but Mr. Dark could have fathered your son. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Bailey is saying the opposite, and if she truly had not slept with any other person, Mr. Dark would have been the father of that child. There really isn't any in between except there's another person in the picture at that time. So, was there any other person in the picture?
Her best friend came running out of the door to like, hey, Terrence, wait up for a second, I'm gonna go to the store with you. So, I I thought that was kind of strange, like, why'd you, But anyway, we went on to the store. Well, while we was going to the store, her friend started to tell me a story. She was like, well, I just want to tell you something. She was like, well, the whole time that you was gone.
Okay, now there's a twist, and of course, the question has been answered. Ms. Bailey's best friend might have been a tattletale for ratting her out, but hey, cheating on your partner while he was out of town because you thought he was cheating? Girl, please!
But
so you admit you cheated on him?
I did.
Okay, and so your best friend told on you?
Yep.
What happened to your relationship with Miss Bailey at that point?
I tried to work past it again because of the things that we had already discussed of us being a family and us, trying to work things out, possibly us getting married or whatever the case may be. But I tried to work it past for about approximately a year or so, but I just couldn't take it. I couldn't.
Cheating on Mr. Dark is one thing, but accepting it in open court while smiling like that is on another level. Mr. Dark said he was trying to get past it, but it's as clear as day that he was never going to be able to do that. That level of trust doesn't wander the street, so it's rare.
We still occasionally seen each other every, like 2, 3, maybe every 2 months, 3 months or so.
What's dealt with each other mean?
We still seen each other occasionally.
Seen each other and had sex, or
yes,
just seen each other
still
and
was
said
having
hello?
unprotected sex sometimes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you kept having sex until
2016.
It was like early March.
Dealing with each other, Mr. Dark really couldn't get over Ms. Bailey, judging from their meaning of still dealing with each other. He could have just dealt with another woman in that aspect, but no! Mr. Dark specifically loved Ms. Bailey's body more, so dealing with her was the best option for him.
You feel like you were a crutch?
Yes, ma'am, because from the beginning, I was there at the hospital when Jameer was born, even with my doubts, because in the back of my mind, I didn't never want to feel like, okay, he really was my son and I didn't do the things that I was supposed to do as a father. I was there when he was born. The onesies and stuff that he took home,
okay, so
I
why
bought
did
for
you
them.
sign the birth
Pampers.
certificate?
Oh, okay. Here comes the waterworks from Ms. Bailey. Forcing Mr. Dark to sign the certificate isn't right, but since Mr. Dark forgot to learn a bit about legal cases or didn't bother watching legal dramas while growing up, he fell for that trap easily. However, it's not a trap if the baby belongs to him.
And you can step up to the podium. State your name for the court.
My name is Yana Bradley.
Miss Bradley, thank you for joining us. You are what relationship to Mr. Dark?
I'm his current girlfriend and I'm pregnant with his child.
Girlfriend.
Okay, what would you like to tell the court?
Well, first, in my personal opinion, I don't feel like the baby looks like him.
The unexpected guest shows up and she's acting like the new bride. Well, at least she's not going to be tagged a one-night stand. Judging from the new girlfriend's explanation, Ms. Bailey's story is now more sketchy than it was before, but Mr. Dark could still be the father.
That he step up and that he do for my baby, like, I don't understand. And I grew up without my parents, so I want him to be there for Jameer.
So you're saying you grew up without your parents?
I did, and it was very hard for me.
He should step up? Under normal circumstances, it's really none of his business if he's not the father, but okay. Even if he's willing to step up, Ms. I'm pregnant on the side doesn't look like she would be cool with that. Mr. Dark and his new girlfriend are as impatient to hear the DNA result as everyone, so let's wrap it up.
Mr. Dark, you are the father.
I told you that he was yours.
Your word ain't, man.
Okay.
So listen, when I first told you you were the father, Mr. Dark, I saw genuine emotion on your face.
Looking for a perfect church man when you're not a perfect church woman? Oh, these cases never cease to amaze the judge and even the rest of the world. Because what does Ms. Looper mean that she thought Mr. Downs would be a perfect man? Does that even exist?
You say you thought the defendant was a respectful, church-going family man who turned out to be anything but. You claim that after giving birth to your twins, Brayley and Bishop, Mr. Downs denied fathering your babies. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Downs, you say Ms. Looper carried on a secret relationship behind your back.
Ms. Looper wasn't loyal, but she wanted a loyal man. Okay, since you're the most loved human the Lord created. Anyway, Mr. Downs doesn't appear to be a bad man, but he still deserves to know if he really fathered Brayley and Bishop.
Then we ran into some problems. He went through my phone, and I did have a lot of open doors.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get that metaphor.
Okay.
Open doors. So you still had other relationships that you had not quite cut off.
Absolutely. This was 2 weeks after we started hanging out. So we weren't in a relationship. We weren't together.
Open doors. Ms. Looper keeps acting like the paternity test about her twins is a joke. Those open doors were meant to be shut the moment things got serious. But guess Ms. Looper was enjoying the attention from other guys while securing her Mr. Good Guy.
Changed tremendously though after he went through my phone. Our vibe was different. We weren't hanging out as much. When I found out I was pregnant, I called him and he didn't even answer. That's where we were at.
So how did he ever find out?
I sent him a text message. He was really nonchalant about it, but once I did get pregnant, he was amazing. Cedric rubbed my feet, rubbed my belly. He would get up at 2 a.m., go get me ice and hot Cheetos.
Any man would recline too, even if it was her brother. Mr. Downs still being around during the pregnancy is really amazing. That man right there played a mature man by not kicking her to the curb because Ms. Looper is not even apologetic about her open doors while they already had something going on between them.
Just leave the okay to hot Cheetos and rubbing bellies and doing that. How's it get to that?
I got 3 other children outside of these 2 we here for today. I ain't never, ever turned my back on none of my kids. I've been there for all of my kids since day one. I just felt like me as a man and the way I've been obligated to my other kids, there's still a chance that they're mine, so I'm not gonna build this whole little...
That's it. Mr. Downs is a responsible man, but we can't say the same for Ms. Looper. Mr. Downs wouldn't let the twins suffer regardless of him having doubts about their paternity. Mr. Downs already knew fully well that Ms. Looper was still opening her door during the conceptual time period of the twins, but he still stayed.
As soon as they brought Brayley into the room, the first thing he said was, "Do you guys do DNA tests here? I've never had a kid come out that light." That's the first thing he said when he seen her. But he did go see my son, and he did say that he looked like him.
So when you saw Brayley, you had questions instantly. You didn't feel like you could be her father.
Inasmuch as Mr. Downs was responsible, he still needed to know if those babies were his children, and he had the right to ask for that DNA, but Ms. Looper wasn't having that. Man believes all of his kids are meant to come out a certain way. Yeah, that might be a myth, but sometimes your intuition doesn't lie.
Maybe I posted Brayley on Snapchat, and the other guy who the messages he seen wrote me and sent me a picture of his daughter and told me that, like, I believe that that's my daughter.
Wow, so you posted a picture of Brayley, and the other man you were having sex with wrote to you and said, "I think this is my daughter."
Okay, Ms. Looper is ready to talk about the other guy, but this other guy only claims the baby on Snapchat when she posted. Maybe that's the type of men Ms. Looper was used to. Men that don't look back on where they deposit their sperm till the baby gets posted online. Okay.
Mr. Downs, do you feel like you could be the father of one twin and someone else be the father of the other?
Yes, ma'am. I just like with Bishop, I felt a much bigger bond with my son. Every time I see him when we video chat, like his face just lights up when I'm talking to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He knows my face, he knows who I am. And Brayley does too, to an extent, but it's just something about...
Now, Mr. Downs thinks this is the case of fraternal twins, where twin babies have different fathers. To be fair, you wouldn't blame the poor guy. He doesn't feel a strong connection with one of them, and that just makes him uncomfortable. But Ms. Looper knows better.
Relationship with how are you treating the children?
I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? When I had flown to California, she had got me out there to go see the kids. And I mean, like I said, we had a good time. I bonded with both of them, but like I said, it's just something about my son that makes me feel like that's the one that's mine.
So you all fully broke up and you went to California?
Yes, ma'am, she up and left.
Oh yeah, I left to California.
Ms. Looper keeps testing everyone's patience, and the mood in the room is slowly changing from a regular back-and-forth argument to everyone wanting to know if those kids truly belong to Mr. Downs. It's time to know if Ms. Looper has been fooling Mr. Downs or not. Let's open those envelopes.
Mr. Downs, you are not the father. The next result reads as follows. Mr. Downs, you are not the father.
Cheating for 8 years in a 12 years relationship? Oh, that may have to go on the record of one of the worst cheating cases, and Mr. Robinson has to be one of God's angels to control his anger in that courtroom. Ms. Fuller's action can't be fathomed or understood by a regular person.
Mr. Robinson, after a 12-year relationship with the defendant, she confessed that your 3-year-old son, Brandon Jr., may not be your biological child. Now you say your engagement to Ms. Fuller is broken off and your heart is in ruins because of the possibility you may now lose your son too.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Robinson may be one of God's angels on earth, but he's not about to let the baby carry on with his name. So he's demanding for a $100 payment from the court to change Brandon Jr.'s name. It's just right he steers clear off anything relating to the Ms. Fuller if the baby isn't his baby.
Additionally, Mr. Robinson, you are asking the court to award you $100 to pay the fee to change Brandon Jr.'s name if indeed the results reveal you are not his father and you have to move on without him.
Ms. Fuller may be feeling some type of guilt, but she did cheat on Mr. Robinson for years. That woman knew what she did, but she kept going back to her other dude till she couldn't figure out who got her pregnant. Mind you, she was still at the other guy's place a couple of times after Junior birth.
She got on social media on my phone, okay, but didn't close it. Forgot to close it. So I'm sitting on the couch. I'm about to jump on my Facebook, but I'm looking at posts, my social media or whatever. I'm looking at posts like, wait a minute, this ain't mine. You know what I'm saying? So instantly I get kind of nosy, you know what I mean? And I start going in inbox, reading inbox.
If you were wondering how Mr. Robinson got to know Ms. Fuller was giving another man access to her body, well, there it is. Man tried using his phone for Facebook and realized it wasn't his account. Anyone would be curious just like Mr. Robinson. And there goes Ms. Fuller's 8-year secret.
Sat down on the couch at first. I was like, So I handed her the phone. I was like, read this. So she reading it, you know. She kind of got a little look on her face or whatever. And I got up after that. And I went to the washer. And I started taking clothes out the washer and out the dryer and all of that stuff. And I was like, get out. But I'm like, leave Brandon.
Even Ms. Fuller couldn't defend her own actions. There really isn't any way to defend something like that. That was just cruel to Mr. Robinson. But it seems Mr. Robinson is a real gentleman. He's still there looking at her calmly and not throwing his shoes.
Like years ago, and we started seeing each other, and I don't know, I just still kept talking to him or whatever, but it was off and on for about 8 years or whatever. Around the time—
It went on for how long?
It was like 8 years off and on, but it wasn't like—
8 years off and on?
Yes.
From Ms. Fuller's explanation, it was an on and off thing for those 8 years. Excuse me, ma'am, that time isn't a short period that can be easily waltzed out just like that. That's close to a decade. The patience Mr. Robinson has got in him is top-notch for real.
Before you meet the other potential father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then you have a little break in 2005. 2006, you reconnect with that other potential father, and you're with him all the way through 2011.
It was more like when we would get into it, when he would put me out, that's who I would kick it with. That's who I would call.
Just as the judge mentioned, that's a lot of times Ms. Fuller was sleeping with the other potential baby daddy, me. Fuller has misunderstandings with her boyfriend, and she feels camping at another man's house was the solution. You can bet that man was using her as a booty call.
No understanding, Your Honor. I didn't think it was another guy. No way.
So this is your first time figuring that out right now?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Robinson, do you now feel like there's even more of a chance Brandon Jr. is not your biological child?
That's overwhelming and definitely not in a good way. Mr. Robinson has been playing the role of a father to the innocent Brandon Jr. for years while his girlfriend has been kicking it back for some other dude. That's insane.
Withdrawing your petition because you haven't quite decided yet and it's something you would like to revisit at another time?
I don't want to change his name. I don't want to change his name. Everybody know him. Brandon. Everybody call him Brandon.
It's obvious. Mr. Robinson loves that baby to death, and him not being the father of that boy may cause some big trouble in his life. Let's just get it over with. Mr. Robinson should just hear those 4 words so he can know his fate real quick.
Mr. Brandon Robinson Sr., you are his father.
How do you even start to explain who you thought your father was? Isn't your biological father after 29 years? That's a whole lot of years. About 3 decades. Ms. Bronson has all the rights in the world to feel wronged about this.
Ms. Bronson, you have always known the defendant to be your biological father, but have opened your case against him to prove paternity because he now claims he has reason to deny he is your father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thinking about how to start bonding with another man as one's father is just a silent and terrible way of a torturous experience. There was all the time in the world to let Ms. Bronson know who her real father was before she grew up, but no, these grown-ups decided when she was 29 would be perfect.
So, Ms. Bronson, how do you feel knowing your father is denying paternity?
Your Honor, I feel Mr. Roberts is my father. He's the only father I've known for 29 years. That's my father, period. I know him my whole life. He the only one I call my father. That's who I grew up knowing as my father.
Yeah, that's right. That's the man that has been with Ms. Bronson through thick and thin. But there's Mr. Banks at the corner waiting for his long-lost daughter to come running into his arms after 29 years. Not sure it happens just like that.
Your Honor, up until 2009.
What happened in 2009?
I had a phone conversation with my mother. Then she mentioned Mr. Banks. And she said, don't you remember the guy that I told you who thought he was your father? When she said that to me, Your Honor, it was a what moment, like, what are you talking about? So she said that he wanted to get in contact with me.
So 2009 was the turning point for Ms. Bronson as her mother revealed to her that she had slept with more than one man at the time of her conception. Here it gets tricky because where's the mother in question that caused this 29 years hassle?
So, Mr. Roberts, take me to the day you found this out.
A few years ago, Miss Blair told me that she needed to talk to me about something, and that's when I found out. I was kept in the dark about all this. I never knew anything about Mr. Banks. I also, spent 8 months in jail for unpaid child support.
So Ms. Bronson is also onto something. She preferred confiding in her supposed father's fiance than her supposed father. Now, Mr. Banks would definitely believe there's a crack right there, and he can easily get in. Thought the relationship was rock solid.
All these years, my thing is, the mother knew or Miss Banks knew of somebody. Why did somebody say something? I was the last to know about everything. And if other people knew, they should have said something. We could have dealt with this issue 20 years ago.
Exactly. Someone should have said something. That poor man staying behind bars for 8 months was for nothing? Damn. The atmosphere in that courtroom is supposed to be nothing close to being calm.
Do you become aware that you potentially could be Ms. Bronson's biological father?
I can recall when she was about 6 or 7, and I ran to her mother and Jasmine and her sister in the park. And then she had told me that Jasmine was my daughter then.
When she was 6 or 7 years old? That's ridiculous. So everyone around Mr. Roberts watched Ms. Bronson grew up from about 6 years old till she was 29 before saying something. At this point, the public opinion about DNA testing being mandatory at birth is right.
15 years, secret persisted.
Well, I thought I was gonna see her again, but I had never seen the mother again, and never
Did you exchange numbers? Did you say, hey, let's keep in touch?
Yes, we did.
Did you ever call her?
Basically, she took my number, and I never heard from her since, though.
Did you think about that day for years?
Yes, I always thought.
So Ms. Bronson and her mother already met Mr. Banks' mother, and they went home and said nothing to Mr. Roberts. Okay, no blame will be apportioned to Ms. Bronson here because she was a little girl. But her mother, this is twisted.
Until this point, you didn't even know Mr. Banks existed.
No,
you did nothing.
I knew nothing of Mr. Banks. I dated Miss Bronson. I even married her 2 months after Jasmine was born, and I went on my business as the start of my family.
That man needs to know the result of this DNA test quickly before he falls from shock and disappointment. No one deserves to be treated that way. Going to jail for unpaid child support when it's not even certain the child is his just doesn't seem right. That man right there is trying so hard to keep it together and hold his tears from falling.
Mr. Roberts, you are not the father. The next result reads as follows. Mr. Banks, you are the father.